Hi everyone, good morning. It's 6 o'clock here on a Tuesday. Welcome to Up with KREM. I'm Tim Pham.
And I'm Channing Curtis. It's going to be a terrific Tuesday.
That's right.
And it's also terrific because Thomas is back. That's right, we're keeping the tea thing going this morning. Welcome back, Thomas. How was your vacation?
It was great. Did you miss me? I missed
Absolutely.
you guys. It looks like the weather has been very nice the last couple days, though has been heating up here locally. I was out in Minnesota where it was a little bit more humid by comparison, but here certainly hot, but certainly dry as well. As you see those perfectly blue skies, looks like a pleasant day to be lakeside at Coeur d'Alene. I think those water temperatures are finally starting to react to these hotter temperatures, and with temps near 90 today, we'll certainly feel a difference. It's 58 degrees right now. There are plenty of 50s across the inland northwest first thing this morning, and we will warm up quickly. 81 by noon today, upper 80s for this afternoon. I think tomorrow is going to be even hotter overall. But for today, still another step up temperature-wise, upper 80s and perhaps even some low 90s in our normal warm spots for the inland northwest.
Well, with a new dog park coming to Spokane, city officials are now asking for community feedback on what design residents would like to see. Up with KREM's Brandon T. Jones is joining us live from one of the local dog parks here in Spokane. So Brandon, can you tell us more about what the Parks Department plans on doing, or if they have any ideas already?
Yeah, good morning, Channing. Well, what we know is that this dog park will host a meeting tonight, and the city is hosting an opportunity for community and residents to come together and voice their opinions and provide some of their thoughts on what they believe this dog park should look like. So tonight, as I mentioned, that workshop will kick off. It's called a dog park design workshop. The workshop will begin at 6 p.m. at Cooper Elementary. What you can expect is 3 design concepts that will be shared. Those designs haven't been shared with us yet, but you'll be able to view those tonight. Workshop participants will also be asked to weigh in on their preferences and rank their desired amenities they would like to see in a local dog park. According to Parks and Rec, the designs that will be shared include strategies to promote safety and reduce impact to neighbors and the environment.
We're reaching out back into the neighborhoods, we're reaching back out into the community and having that dialogue and that next big step in renovating our neighborhood parks, community parks, and special attractions like dog parks.
So earlier this year, the park board approved this new dog park location to be located along Upriver Drive in Northeast Spokane near Beacon Hill and Minnehaha. At this point, a timeline on the construction hasn't been established yet, but the city says completion depends on permitting requirements. There is hope, however, that as we get throughout this year, that the dog park will be completed by the end of this year. Reporting live in Spokane, Brandon T. Jones, KREM 2 News.
New from overnight, the Spokane City Council is set to discuss whether the Spokane Police Ombudsman can launch an investigation into the police chief.
The police ombudsman is authorized to investigate the police department, but not the police chief. Under city code, any investigation into the police chief must be approved by the mayor and investigated by the city's human resources department. The new ordinance would change the law so that the ombudsman can conduct independent investigations. Now, this comes after Spokane Police Chief Craig Meidel was accused of giving special access and information to downtown business owners. Spokane Mayor Nadine Woodward opposed launching an investigation into these allegations. The emergency ordinance is scheduled for a vote at the next city council meeting this coming Monday, June 12th. An 8-year-long mystery is now over, all thanks to DNA and forensic genealogy. The Spokane County Sheriff's Office says skull fragments found by a fisherman on the Spokane River belonged to a man murdered in 2015.
So Brett Snow was reported by his family missing in December of 2015, and his body has never been found. But thanks to funds from the federal government, investigators were able to prove through DNA testing that those skull fragments belong to Snow. Prosecutors believe Snow was murdered despite not knowing where his body is. 4 people have already been tried, convicted, and sentenced to prison for their role in his death.
And what amazes us and her is none of you, not one, shedded tears or seemed remorseful for what you'd done.
The lab used in testing has played a role in identifying at least 3 people from the inland northwest this year alone.
It is 6:05 right now. Let's take a look at your morning rush. More news in less time. A local Starbucks union has won union representation. Employees of the Wellesley Avenue Starbucks are now part of a union after a 12-4 vote. They joined more than 8,000 unionized Starbucks baristas. Now, we reached out to Starbucks for comment on the union vote, but have not heard back. The man arrested in a standoff on the South Hill last week has now been charged with murder. Ryan Shawls appeared before a judge for the first time yesterday. Shawls is accused of shooting a man near Hamilton and East North Hills last month. Major crimes detectives are continuing to investigate a shooting that happened on Saturday in Spokane Valley. Police say a man was seen shooting at 2 people in 2 separate incidents. Detectives say they are working to identify the suspects and any potential victims in this case. Well, this morning, an Oregon gun control measure is on trial. Now, back in November, Oregon voters barely passed Measure 114. It requires residents to go through safety training and pass a background check to get the permit to buy a gun. The trial will determine whether or not the law violates the Constitution. And get ready because Free Fishing Day is this Saturday. Idahoans can fish without a license on June 10th. Idaho Fish and Game is hosting events and lending out rods and reels to celebrate. And that's a look at your morning rush.
And the weather is already pretty warm across the inland northwest as of 6 a.m. this morning. Just a few more spots in the 40s, like in Ritzville, Sandpoint, Wallace. It looks like Deer Park's still at 48, but in Coeur d'Alene, you've already warmed up to 51. So just a couple cool spots. Meanwhile, it's 65 in Grand Coulee and 60 degrees in Omak to mark our warmest spots this morning. Going to be a dry and hot day across the Pacific Northwest. Red flag warnings are in effect across the Cascades region for today for those elevated and high fire danger conditions. Again, those red flag warnings going to start to be a lot more common as we get deeper into the summer season. As for our mid-June outlook, yeah, we are trending a little bit green or maybe wetter than average for later this week and next week, as we're going to be tracking a fair share of some rain and thunderstorm chances ahead.